students, I am Prakash, Academic Advisor, Masterminds. I have been receiving several messages from various students and requesting me to make a video on how to prepare theory subjects. I am also really excited to do this. So it's a great opportunity for me to help the students on how to prepare theory subjects. Several students have a phobia with respect to theory subjects, and the simple solution that they do to overcome that phobia is they will keep on postponing the preparation of theory subjects, and they will prepare the theory subjects only in the last 1.5 month only. So in the normal days, they will not even focus on theory subjects. They focus only on the problematic areas, and then they keep on postponing the preparation of theory subjects. Postponing the preparation of theory subjects is not a solution to the problem. You are just postponing the problem and you are not facing the problem. You need to face the problem seriously. You need to do something seriously to overcome your phobia. So in this video, I am going to explain you various tips on how to overcome that phobia, various tips on how to prepare the theory subjects, and how to score even exemption range of marks even in theory subjects. Generally, students get exemption range of marks only in problematic areas, but after watching this video, you can score exemption range of marks even in theory subjects. Of course, so the success in theory subjects purely depends on your hard work. Whatever I am going to say, it's only the guidance. If you follow that guidance and implement the same, then you are bound to get success. Then you are bound to score wonderful marks in theory subjects too. So everything depends on how you are going to execute the same. So whatever the suggestions I am going to give, you need to execute the same. So take a notebook and pen and note down whatever the tips I am going to say in this particular video. And I recommend all the students to watch the video at least twice. Note down all the points I am going to say and implement them one day or the other. It may not be possible to implement all the tips on a single day, but gradually. So let us assume I have told you 10 tips. So in the first week, try to implement 2 to 3 tips. In the second week, try to implement another 2 to 3 tips. In that manner, gradually implement the things I am going to say in this particular video. But I am sure that after watching this video, each and every student will get benefited, and each and every student will score better marks in their theory subjects. And majority students will lose phobia on theory subjects after watching this video. Now, first of all, let us see how important it is to upgrade our skills.
Once upon a time, in a small town, there was a very strong woodcutter who didn't have a job. So the woodcutter decided to ask for a job in a timber merchant, and he got it. The pay was really good, and so was the work condition. For those reasons, the woodcutter was determined to do his best. His boss gave him an axe and showed him the area where he was supposed to work. The first day, the woodcutter brought 18 trees. He was very excited. "Congratulations," the boss said. "Go on that way." Very motivated by the boss's words, the woodcutter tried harder the next day, but he could only bring 15 trees. The third day, he tried even harder, but he could only bring in 10 trees. Day after day, he was bringing less and less trees. I must be losing my strength, the woodcutter thought. He went to the boss and apologized, saying that he could not understand what was going on. The boss asked, "When was the last time you sharpened your axe?" "Sharpen? I had no time to sharpen my axe. I have been very busy trying to cut trees." Moral of the story? Our lives are like that. We sometimes get so busy that...
So what we can understand, or what is the moral of this story, is the woodcutter is so busy in cutting the trees that he forgot to sharpen his axe. Exactly same thing is happening with students also. So students are also busy with the daily routine. They are so busy that they are forgetting to upgrade their skills. What they are feeling is, with the same skill set, they are able to qualify their 10th class. With the same skill set, they are able to qualify their intermediate. then why can't they qualify CA course also? But my dear students, the requirements at each course will be different. You need to upgrade yourself, you need to upgrade your skills, otherwise you cannot handle the situations. Your efficiency and effectiveness will come down if you don't upgrade your skills. So how to read theory subjects, it is also one skill which you need to upgrade. So whatever the things you know, that is with respect to dealing theory subjects, you know at 10th class level, you know at intermediate level, may not suit at professional courses because the syllabus is voluminous in professional courses. That's why you need to change the strategies with respect to preparation of theory subjects. You need to upgrade your skills with respect to preparation of theory subjects. So this video is meant for that particular purpose. This video will help you to upgrade the skill sets that are required to learn theory subjects, prepare theory subjects. So that's what we need to learn from the story. Now, here is another video. An young lady is able to lift a heavy weight Harley Davidson bike. So everybody knows how bulky it will be, but an young lady is able to lift that vehicle with lot of ease, with not much difficulty. She is able to lift that vehicle. Let's see the video.
Now it doesn't matter what you ride, if you're riding all the classic, it doesn't matter, it ain't be super low, it doesn't matter anything picking up this bike, and all bikes. A few reasons why you don't want you to pick up a motorcycle. If you have a bad back or bad knees, don't lift, call roadside assistance. If the bike is leaking any fluids or if it's on an incline or decline, it could roll away from you, call roadside assistance. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you turn the engine off using the engine cutoff switch. Then you want the back of the bike and you want the bike in gear. And you want it in gear so when you're lifting, it's not going to roll away from you. As soon as the bike is in gear, if it wasn't, I'll pull down on the shift lever to bring it into gear. But the next step is a really important step. It's also a step that gets forgotten most. I hear it all the time. People forget this step, and that is to put the side stand down. You can imagine what's going to happen if you forget this step. The bike's going to go on the other side. That's very common. I hear that again. I hear it all the time. So I'll tell you in a few minutes how to pick it up from that side, or if the bike falls on that side again, with how to pick it up from that side as well. So you want to make sure you clear the rocks, the gravel where you're going to be sitting, because, or actually where your feet are going to be, because you don't want to slide. Get rid of all that loose gravel rocks. There's two ways of doing this. If you watch this online, they have you sitting down against the seat. I find this very difficult to do because I'm down so low, I don't have very good use of my leg muscles, so I like to be up on the seat. So if you've tried this in the past and you couldn't do it, change where you're sitting. It makes all the difference in the world. Just that simple little sitting technique makes such a world of difference. So I'm actually now up on the seat, and now I can use those leg muscles to rock the bike back. Left hand knuckles out, I'm going to grab the hand grip. My right hand is just going to rest on the fender, and I'm going to use my legs to rock the bike up. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is foot pivot placement. I like one foot in front of the other. People like their feet side by side. All personal preference. It's so you can get a firm grip of the road surface, and you can rock the bike back. You don't want to roll over on the seat. As you rock, you want to stay firmly planted in the seat so you can feel your leg muscles tense. And at this point, I'm going to rock this bike up to about a 45-degree, nice and easy. Now I can stop. The key here is to stay on the seat. Make sure you stay in the seat so your legs are doing the work. If you have an Ultra Classic or a larger bike, this is the angle of the Ultra when it goes down, or a larger bike. The key with that is to slide down in the seat. Now, if I was like this, trying to lift this bike up, I couldn't do it. I just, because of where I was sitting. Now, if I come down low, I can use those leg muscles, just as you would do with a bigger bike, and you push your way back, taking small little steps. So you're going to bring it all the way up onto the stand. Now, the bike falls on the other side, you're going to do the same thing. Bring that bike.
So, lifting that heavy bike is a small trick. It's a small technique. If you are able to know the technique, then it's very easy to lift that bike. Just imagine if you doesn't know the technique, how much of efforts get wasted. Similarly, if you know the technique of reading theory subjects, then you can save lot of efforts. Your lot of efforts get saved. So reading theory subjects is also a small technique. Today I am here to teach that technique to all of you. If you follow the technique well, then definitely you will score wonderful marks in theory subjects too, just like any other problematic paper. And you will start losing phobia on theory subjects, so you will start getting more and more interest on theory subjects. Now, a common doubt which arises in the mind of all the students is it possible to cover up this much amount of syllabus in a short span of time? Here is my answer to it. So let us see a small video. It's a video about constructing a 30-story building in 15 days. Normally a 30-story building construction will take around 2 years, but it was built in just 15 days, 1-5. Let's see the time-lapse video of the same. Even recently, China has built a massive hospital in just a matter of 1 week for the sake of COVID-19 patients. I think all of you are aware of the same. Now, my observation on all these things is if your planning is good and its execution is good, anything is possible. So, number of days available, it's not at all a matter. You need to plan according to the number of days available, then everything is possible. And you need to use better technology, better techniques to be adopted for within the to complete the syllabus within the available period. Similarly, if you know the technique of studying theory subjects and if you implement the same properly, then you can finish off this much of vast syllabus even in very lesser amount of time. Everything depends on what kind of techniques that you are using to study well. I am going to teach all those techniques to you for preparing the theory subjects well. If you prepare in a scientific manner, then you can comfortably handle this much of huge syllabus. You must unlearn what you have learned in your school days. So there might be some things which you have not learned properly. You need to unlearn certain things and you need to relearn certain new things. We must change according to the requirements or circumstances. Otherwise, we will extinct. We cannot survive. We need to mold ourselves. We need to change according to the needs. So now the need is the vast syllabus of theory subjects. Now the need is you need to prepare in a scientific manner. You need to adopt scientific techniques. You need to implement scientific techniques to read that much of used syllabus. Otherwise, otherwise it's impossible for anyone to read this much of used syllabus in the available time. Everything depends on what kind of technique that you are using to read this much of syllabus. First, what you need to do is you need to analyze the question papers of at least 5 recent exams. Don't forget to refer RTPs of 3 recent exams and MTPs of 2 recent exams under old and new syllabus. The first step you need to do is analyze the past examination question papers. It is like understanding our enemy. Without understanding our enemy, how can we plan our combat? That's why first we need to analyze how our enemy is, how strong our enemy is, what are the weaknesses of our enemy. Here our enemy is the examination itself. So you can understand better about the examination by analyzing the question papers of at least 5 recent exams. Either it can be old syllabus or new syllabus. Better to analyze the question papers of both old and new syllabus so that you can understand the examination trends. Similarly, don't forget to refer the RTPs of 3 recent exams and MTPs of 2 recent exams under old and new syllabus. Analyze important trends in previous exams using Discover or some other similar book like Scanner. So there are several books available in the market. We have already developed a book called Discover, and a similar book is already there in the market with the name of Scanner. It's mandatory to refer Scanner or Discover also to analyze the past examination trends. Is it required to both, that is Discover or Scanner, as well as recent exam question papers? Yes, it is required. You need to refer both. So whatever the things you can know by analyzing the past examination questions are entirely different from what you know from analyzing Discover or Scanner, because Discover or Scanner also consists of past examination questions, but they will be segregated chapter wise. So you can understand the past examination trends chapter wise by analyzing Discover or Scanner, but you can analyze the overall examination by looking at the public exam question paper. For example, if you look at the public exam question paper, you can find that the first question is compulsory question. First question is compulsory question. You cannot take it as choice, but you cannot identify this point by looking at Scanner or Discover. That's why analyzing question papers is a different task. Analyzing past examinations using Discover or Scanner is a different task. One has to do both. Both are equally important tasks. Now, what you need to observe while analyzing the past examination papers? First of all, analyze the weightage of each chapter in each subject so that you can understand what chapters need to be focused well, what chapters can be taken as choice, what chapters it is sufficient to prepare moderately, what needs to be prepared and what can be left as choice. This you can take a decision after analyzing the past examination trends. Weightage of recent amendments, because in few subjects there will be huge weightage for recent amendments. So same may not be the case with remaining subjects. That's why if you are able to identify that there is a huge weightage for recent amendments, then in those papers it's better to pay more attention on the recent amendments. That's why you need to analyze what sort of weightage is being given to recent amendments in that particular subject. Weightage of each source in the examination, that is from which source each problem or question is being taken. Is it from study material, or is it from RTPs or MTPs, or is it from past examinations? If you observe carefully, majority questions in the public examination will be repeated from the previous examinations only. 20 to 30% of the weightage will be given to recent RTPs and NTPs. That's why you need to analyze from which source each of the problem or question is being picked up in the examination, so that you can pay enough attention on each of the source from which examination question paper is being covered. How questions or problems are being given in the exam? Are they being given directly or being modified? This you need to analyze. If they are being modified, then you need to upgrade your skills. So it is not it is not a wise thing just by referring the question and answers in the material. You must be able to analyze them, you must be able to interpret them, and you must be in a position to handle even if a question gets modified in the public examination. So that's why you need to focus on those areas also. Various types of questions being asked in theory subjects and their weightage. So how much marks are being allotted to practical questions? How much marks are being allotted to theory questions? How much marks are being allotted to true or false statements? You need to analyze all these things while analyzing the past examination question papers. So decide the depth of preparation required. After analyzing all these points, you need to decide the depth of preparation required in each chapter. In some chapters, you may require to prepare in a very in-depth manner. In some chapters, you may require to prepare only moderately. Some chapters, you can even take choice. So all these decisions you need to take based on analysis of past examination papers. Identify the loopholes in the question paper and try to encash the same. Now, analyze your strengths and weaknesses and also strengths and weaknesses of the question paper and plan accordingly. Remember, whatever suits to one student does not suit to you. That's why you need to analyze your strengths and weaknesses on your own. For example, you may be poor at communication skills. So one may be good at communication skills. Then whatever the strategy works out for him will not work out for you. So that's why everybody has to prepare their own strategy to combat the examination. So all these things you need to do after analyzing the past examination question papers. The second step is listen to the classes attentively. That's very, very, very important. 90% of the students are committing this mistake. While attending the classes, they don't listen to the classes attentively, and later on, to cover up the same, they are wasting their valuable time. For example, if you listen to the class attentively, you can revise the topics taught in a 1 hour class in just a matter of 5 minutes. If you want to do it on your own, it will take 3 hours. That means by listening to the classes attentively, you can revise it in 5 minutes. On the other hand, if you don't listen to the classes attentively, you need to spend around 3 hours to cover up the same. So, as a result, you will end up being more and more busy in wasting your valuable time. That's why never do so. What you need to do is, while listening to the class, listen to the classes very, very, very attentively. That means with utmost attention, you attend the classes. Give topmost priority to listen to the classes instead of writing notes. Writing notes is not top priority. Listening to the class is more top priority. If you listen to the classes attentively, then with this matter of 5 minutes of revision, you can revise the questions taught by the faculty in 1 hour. That's what the saving of time that we can make. So in just matter of 5 minutes, you can revise the topics taught in 1 hour. Otherwise, to cover up the same, you need to spend around 3 hours if you don't listen to the classes attentively. Use the break time to revise the questions taught by the faculty in the previous 1 hour. So generally after completion of each hour, you may get a break of 5 to 10 minutes. So in that 5 to 10 minutes of time, generally faculty get changed from one class to another class. What you need to do is, you use that time in a proper way. In just 5 minutes, you try to revise everything which was already taught in the previous 1 hour. Maintain running notes properly. It is mandatory for all the theory subjects to maintain running notes, because faculty will be telling you several examples to make the things better understanding to you. Those examples are invaluable. You cannot count the value of those examples. That's why try to maintain a running notes and try to especially note down the examples taken by faculty which made you understand the concept in a simple manner. So try to maintain running notes for each and every theory subject. That will also help you to improve your attention levels on the class. Don't forget to write the examples taught by the faculty in the class. It will help you a lot in memorizing the concepts very quickly during your revision time. So during your revision time, just by looking at the example, you can understand the entire concept taught by the faculty in the class. Underline the important points with red pen while listening to the classes itself. While listening to the classes, you may feel that certain areas or certain sentences or certain paragraphs are very tricky. You try to underline them with red pen while listening to the classes itself. Use the running notes to prepare for your internal exams, especially for your weekend exams. So preparing in your running notes is more than enough. So no one will expect more than that. Of course, after completion of syllabus, you may need to prepare everything given in the main material. But as far as your weekend examinations is concerned, preparing the running notes will also help you a lot. If any class gets cancelled on a particular day, then use such time for revising the subject rather than wasting the time unnecessarily. So if a particular class gets cancelled, instead of putting chit chat with your friends, try to spend that valuable time in revising all the concepts taught on that particular day. If you still have enough time, then you try to revise the concepts taught on the previous day also. Why you shall plan for your revision now itself? Why you shall plan for your revision now itself? I always say, the best time to start revision is classroom itself. Don't be in a wrong notion that in future you will get plenty of time to revise. No, you will not get plenty of time in future. Generally, syllabus gets finished in hardly 1 or 2 months before the public examinations. In that 1 or 2 months of time, it's very tough for any student to revise this much of vast syllabus. So then what we should do? Start revising the classes in the classroom itself. So what you need to do? Just imagine a faculty has taught you 1 hour of class. After that, there is a break of 5 minutes. In that 5 minutes of break, try to revise the topics taught by the faculty in the previous 1 hour. So in that manner, you try to finish off the first revision in the classroom itself. By the time you leave the classroom in the evening, you must have finished for your first revision of all 3 subjects taught by the faculty on that particular day. See how a newspaper is designed. So newspaper is designed in a wonderful manner. So a lot of planning is involved in designing a newspaper. So newspaper is designed in such a way that if you don't have time, you can even cover the headlines, you can even refer the headlines and read the newspaper in just a matter of 5 minutes. If you have enough time, that is around 1 or 2 hours, then you can read the newspaper with a leisure time of 1 or 2 hours. Even if you want to read each and every line in the newspaper, you can read so, because the headlines and headings were properly arranged in such a manner that they will indicate the importance of that particular topic. If they feel that a particular topic is very important, they will give headlines with very bold letters and very big letters. If they feel that it is moderately important, then they will give moderate font size. They will use moderate font size for that particular heading. So just by looking at the heading, you can understand the relative importance of the topic. Similarly, you should also arrange your material in such manner. So just by looking at the material, you must be in a position to understand what is important, what is not so important. For example, while listening to the classes itself, if you feel that a particular question is very simple and it's not so important from examination point of view, then why don't you strike off in the classroom itself? For what you are waiting? Are you waiting till the revision time? Why to waste the time unnecessarily? When you are able to take a decision now itself, why do you postpone the same till the revision time? So that's why while listening to the classes itself, try to strike off the areas which are unimportant. Try to highlight the areas which are very, very important. So that's what we need to learn from how a newspaper is designed. A building constructed for one purpose will not suit for another purpose. That means before constructing the building itself, we must take a decision the purpose of the same. Similarly, such planning is required right from the beginning. If you don't plan properly, you cannot handle this much of syllabus at the revision time. Please don't postpone your preparation till revision time. Try to revise everything in the classroom itself. If you make some arrangement from now itself, then each revision time, the time spent by you will decrease. So you are preparing in a scientific manner, this can be evident by your preparation. In every revision, if your revision time is decreasing, then that means your revision is in proper manner. In every revision, if your revision time is not decreasing, that means you are not revising the things in a proper manner. In each revision, your efficiency must increase. That means you must be able to spend lesser time in finishing of the revision without losing its effectiveness. Then only your preparation is in right track. Your preparation is in scientific manner. See how a politician or businessman spends their precious time. Please don't forget, even for a chief minister, the available time is only 24 hours. Even for a prime minister, the available time is only 24 hours. Even for Mukesh Ambani, the available time is only 24 hours. Everything depends on how you are going to plan that available time. You need to plan the available time in a systematic manner. You shall not postpone the things. So you shall focus on efficiency and effectiveness. You must try to draw best output in the available limited time. It all depends on how you plan the things. Step 4, how to read in a scientific manner. Initially, what you need to do is give a normal reading of the question. In the first revision, your only target should be to understand what is given in the answer. Don't try to memorize anything in the first revision. So first revision is meant only to understand what is given in the material. That's it. So first 1 or 2 readings, you spend time in understanding each and every sentence properly, in understanding each and every word properly. If you feel that you doesn't know the meaning of certain words, then better to refer some dictionary and try to note down the meaning of the same. All these things need to be done in the first 1 or 2 readings itself. First, try to understand the answer properly. If you read properly, then you can understand the properly. Everything depends on how you read the same. If you read in a systematic manner, in a rhythmic manner, then you can understand the same in a very well manner. So try to memorize the things in the second and subsequent revisions only. While making the second and subsequent revisions, your target should be to memorize what is given in the material. Never make an attempt to memorize the things in the first reading itself. While you prepare for theory papers, underline the keywords or sentences using a red pen. So take down the red pen and try to underline the keywords or important sentences. What are these keywords? It is an important word in the paragraph. Just by looking at that word, you must be in a position to memorize the entire sentence of the paragraph. Those are nothing but keywords. So try to underline the keywords or sentences using a red pen. So of course, this effort needs to be done only if there are no side headings to a particular question. If there are side headings, then it's sufficient to underline the side headings, because side headings itself will serve the purpose of keywords. If there are no side headings, then you need to identify the keywords in each sentence and underline the same. How to read? So 5th point, in the first reading itself, underline the side headings with a red pen so that it will register strongly in your memory. Underlining using a red pen and underlining using a blue pen is entirely different. You have to underline using a red pen. If you don't find side headings for some questions, then underline the keywords for each paragraph with a red pen. Then you need to identify the keywords on your own. Just by looking at such keywords, you shall be in a position to memorize the entire paragraph. So that's why they are called keywords. Try to develop, this is a very important step, try to develop your own short notes or quick revision notes. What is this short notes? In case of theory subjects, you can easily score at least 50% of the marks if at least the side headings are correct. If at least the side headings are correct, then you can score at least 50% of the marks in the public exam. That's why you have to be thorough with the side headings. In majority cases, what happens is everybody knows the content to be written, but they simply forget the side headings to be written. So that's why it's very important to revise the side headings for multiple times. For the sake of making it convenient, that is to make it convenient to revise side headings for multiple times, it's better to maintain a short notes. In that short notes, you try to note down only the side headings. Sir, what we shall do if there are no side headings to a particular question? If there are no side headings, you are already underlining the keywords. You write down the same keywords in your quick revision notes. So develop a short notes or quick revision notes on your own, which consists of side headings of each question. If there are no side headings, then write the keywords which you can make you to remember the entire paragraph or sentence. It is mandatory to maintain such quick revision notes for all theory subjects. Someone may make a comment, sir, I don't have that much time to maintain a short notes for all the subjects. Then you do one thing. So form a team of 4 or 5 students. Form a team of 4 or 5 students and divide the subjects among your friends. So one student needs to take up law, another student needs to take up auditing, another student needs to take up EIS. In that manner, you share the subjects among your friends. You share the subjects among your friends. Later on, once after completion of work, you exchange the same with your friends. Try to revise that short notes or quick revision notes for multiple times. So your target should be to revise that quick revision notes at least for 20 times before you appear for public exams. If you are very much worried about a particular subject, then try to revise the short notes of that particular subject on daily basis, that is every day. Then you can get very good command over that particular subject. For best results, try to maintain such notes in handwritten form only. Rather than in a printed form, it's always better to maintain quick revision notes in handwritten form. Be prepared to face the worst situation. So don't go to the examination with expectations. Go to the examination without any expectations. If you go to the examination without any expectations, I'm sure that you will write your examination well, even if the question paper is very tough. If you go to the examination with some expectations, the lot of tension will build even in your mind, and later on, even if the question paper is slightly tough, you cannot handle such situation. So you go to the examination with a mindset that question paper will be tough and you will be in a position to handle the same. So you need to prepare your mind, fine-tune your mind in such a way that the mind is ready to face even the toughest question paper. That's why go to the examination hall without any expectations. So go to the examination hall with such a preparation that you must be in a position even to face the toughest question paper. Fear is good, but don't let it to turn into worry. So if you repeatedly think about a particular fear, it becomes a worry. Don't let the fear to turn into a worry. So fear is good because without fear we will not work hard. Hurry, worry, curry. These 3 things will damage your health like anything. So these 3 are the major reasons for gastritis. Hurry, that is eating the food in a hurry. Worry about the future, and spicy curries. These 3 things will lead to gastritis, which leads to several health ailments. That's why don't be in a hurry while eating. Don't worry about the future. So have confidence, have faith about future, and better to avoid spicy curries. Fear is good, but don't allow it to turn into worry. Don't think too much about your result. Just focus on your preparation. Result depends on several factors, and several factors are beyond your control. So result depends on several factors, and majority of them are beyond your control. That's why don't worry about result. Think about result, no issue about it, but don't worry about the result. If you are able to enjoy the fear, it's thrill. I'm going to show few videos in which they are able to enjoy the fear, which is called thrill. The fundamental difference between fear and thrill is, if you don't enjoy, it is fear. If you are able to enjoy, it is thrill. So while watching a horror movie, you enjoy the fear. That is called thrill. Similarly, you try to enjoy the fear, then it turns into thrill. When it turns into thrill, you start involving in the work. So I'll show you a small video. It's called wingsuit. It's called wingsuit. See the feat that they are doing. They're almost putting their life into risk.
Ok, vous pouvez voler sur moi. Ok, contact avec le fil. Contact avec le fil. Et go for it, go for it.
So they're able to enjoy it. They're feeling it as a thrill. Just imagine what will happen if there is a slightest variation in the planning and execution. So you can understand what kind of situation they need to face, but they are able to enjoy what they are doing. So I don't think that examinations of CA, CMA or CS professional courses are harder than this. So you are not taking any risk in the life by studying well. That's why, my dear students, you must be able to enjoy even the fear. Then it's called thrill. Here is another video. It's a trekking place. It has got very steep steps. Around 80 degrees steeper. By watching the video, you can understand, even if there is a slight mistake, you can understand what will be the consequence. So they are able to enjoy, then it is not called fear, it's called thrill. So similarly, if you are able to enjoy the fear, it's called thrill. Try to find out thrill even in your examinations. You can excel well in the examinations. How to concentrate on studies? These are 10 tips for improving your concentration on studies, because in majority cases, what is lacking with respect to theory subjects is concentration. Majority students make a complaint that they lose concentration while preparing theory subjects. That's why I thought of including a video on the same.
Hey, hello. बहुत बार मुझे ये क्वेश्चन पूछा जाता है कि स्टडी में कंसंट्रेशन नहीं बन रही, पढ़ाई करने वक्त ध्यान इधर उधर जा रहा है, डिस्ट्रैक्शन हो रही है। और मैं समझता हूँ कि ये बहुत लोगों के साथ होता है कि जब पढ़ने बैठते हैं थोड़ी देर कंसंट्रेशन बनती है, उसके बाद ध्यान इधर उधर चल जाता है। बहुत बार अपनी बुक से ज्यादा सामने वाली दीवार इंटरेस्टिंग हो जाती है। सो इस वीडियो में मैं आपको दे रहा हूँ 10 टिप्स जिसके साथ आप अपनी स्टडीज में, अपनी पढ़ाई में।
I think it happens with majority students while preparing for law subject. Some will be getting the thoughts of EAS. While preparing for EAS subject, some students will be getting the thoughts of strategic management. So they will not be able to focus well on their studies. So with this video, you can understand, you will get some 10 tips to improve your concentration levels.
ज्यादा कंसंट्रेट कर पाओगे, ज्यादा मार्क्स ला पाओगे, which means better result, better career, better life. Point number 1, write timetable. बहुत बार क्या होता है, हम एकदम जोश में आते हैं, बड़ा मोटिवेटेड हो जाते हैं और उस दिन सोचते हैं यार इस हफ्ते में ये सिलेबस, इस सब्जेक्ट का सिलेबस कंप्लीट कर लेना है, ये वाली पूरी बुक 3 दिन में खत्म कर लेनी है। पूरे जोश में, पूरी एनर्जी के साथ, पूरे एंथुसियाज्म के साथ टाइम टेबल बनाते हैं कि ये आज के दिन 4 घंटे लगातार बैठना है, कल भी 4 घंटे लगातार बैठना है, उसके बाद देखो मेरा सिलेबस कंप्लीट। फिर पहले दिन पूरे जोश के साथ बैठते हैं, थोड़ी देर बाद ध्यान इधर उधर जाता है, ध्यान भटकता रहता है और एट द एंड ऑफ द डे हमारा टारगेट पूरा नहीं हुआ होता। करते करते दूसरे दिन, तीसरे दिन के बाद जोश खत्म हो जाता है, मोटिवेशन खत्म हो जाती है और उसके बाद कई दिन बीत जाते हैं। सो इसका सोल्यूशन है, थिंक बिग बट स्टार्ट स्मॉल। अपना एम बड़ा रखो, अपना टारगेट बड़ा रखो, लेकिन पहले दिन एक छोटी शुरुआत करो, अपने माइंड को धीरे धीरे आदत।
So plan your timetable in a proper manner. So think big, but you need to put a smaller targets on each day so that you can easily achieve the same.
डालो कंसंट्रेट करने की, अपने माइंड को धीरे धीरे कंडीशन करना होगा। पहले दिन हो सकता है सिर्फ 15-20 मिनट्स सोच के बैठो कि मुझे 20 मिनट्स लगातार बैठना है, उसके बाद आई टेक अ 10 मिनट्स ब्रेक, फिर 20 मिनट्स बैठूंगा, फिर 10 मिनट्स ब्रेक। सेकंड डे उस स्पैन को बढ़ा दो, अगले दिन मुझे 30 मिनट्स कंटिन्यूअसली पढ़ाई करनी है, देन आई टेक अ 10 मिनट्स ब्रेक। नेक्स्ट डे 40 मिनट्स करते करते आपको आदत पड़ जाएगी 1 or 2 आवर्स कंटिन्यूअसली बैठ के कंसंट्रेशन के साथ पढ़ाई करने की। अपने माइंड को धीरे।
First day, you study for 20 minutes and give a break for 10 minutes. You once again study for 20 minutes and give a break for 10 minutes. In subsequent days, gradually increase the time gap. That means after first day, that is on second day, you read for 30 minutes and give a break for 10 minutes. So after that, in the subsequent days, you start reading for 40 minutes and give a gap for 10 minutes. In that manner, gradually increase the study time and keep the idle time constant.
धीरे 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 उस आदत में लेके आना होगा. एकदम एक्सपेक्ट करेंगे वो नहीं होगा.
Don't expect everything to change in the first day itself. So don't have over expectations on the first day itself, because if you plan for a huge amount of syllabus on the first day itself and you fail to achieve the same, to complete the same, then you will not get enough interest to read properly on the subsequent days.
उसके बाद हमारा जोश खत्म हो जाएगा. सेकंड पॉइंट जो आपको टाइम टेबल बनाने वक्त ध्यान में रखना होगा वो है पीक कंसंट्रेशन टाइम. हम सबकी बॉडी अलग अलग है, हम सबकी कंडीशनिंग अलग अलग है. हम सबका एक टाइम होता है दिन का जिसमें हमारी कंसंट्रेशन बेस्ट होती है. कोई अर्ली मॉर्निंग कंसंट्रेट ज्यादा कर पाता है, कोई रात को ज्यादा कंसंट्रेट कर पाता है.
So identify the time at which your concentration levels are peak level. So try to put theory subjects in that particular time slot.
किसी के लिए इवनिंग इज अ बेटर टाइम, किसी के लिए आफ्टरनून इज अ बेटर टाइम. आपको देखना होगा आपके हिसाब से कौन सा टाइम ऐसा है जिसमें आपकी कंसंट्रेशन पीक पे रहती है. उस टाइम को अपने टाइम टेबल में स्टडी टाइम जरूर रखो, बिकॉज दैट इज द टाइम जिसमें आप कम टाइम में ज्यादा पढ़ के अपना टाइम सेव कर पाओगे और बाकी एक्टिविटीज में भी अपना टाइम बांट पाओगे. पॉइंट नंबर 2, सफिशिएंट स्लीप. अगर हमारी नींद पूरी नहीं होती तो हमारा रिएक्शन टाइम स्लो हो जाता है, हमारी बॉडी की एफिशिएंसी कम हो जाती है और माइंड की कंसंट्रेशन भी कम हो जाती है. आइडियली ऑन एन एवरेज हमारी बॉडी को 7 से 8 घंटे की नींद चाहिए. अगर आपकी नींद पूरी होगी तो आप क्लास में ज्यादा अटेंटिव रहे.
Ideally, we need around 7 to 8 hours of sleep per day. So try to allot sufficient amount of sleep on each day.
जब आप पढ़ाई करने बैठोगे तो ज्यादा एब्जॉर्ब कर पाओगे. आपके माइंड की कंसंट्रेशन आपको जगाने की जगह बाकी एक्टिविटीज में रहेगी, प्रोडक्टिव एक्टिविटीज में रहेगी. और हाँ, ये 7 से 8 घंटे की नींद अपने घर पे पूरी करनी है, क्लास में या ड्राइविंग करते हुए नहीं. पॉइंट नंबर 3, स्ट्रेस. 4 दिन रह गए एग्जाम्स को, डर लग रहा है, सिलेबस बचा हुआ है, तैयारी हुई नहीं है, पैनिक हो रहा है. जब
Avoid stress, avoid worry. Fear is good, but don't turn it into worry.
ऑलरेडी टाइम कम है तो फिर आपके लिए उस वक्त एक मिनट जरूरी है. सिंपली अपने वरी टाइम को स्टडी टाइम में कन्वर्ट करो. डर के आप अपना टाइम वेस्ट कर रहे हो. टाइम वेस्ट कर रहे हो मतलब अपनी तैयारी, अपनी प्रिपरेशन और कम कर रहे हो, विच मीन्स अपने डर को और बढ़ा रहे हो. सो अपने वरी टाइम को स्टडी टाइम में कन्वर्ट करो, विच मीन्स बेटर प्रिपरेशन, बेटर तैयारी. उससे आपका डर और कम होगा. सो जब भी एग्जाम्स का पैनिक हो, जब भी एग्जाम से डर लगे, एक लाइन अपने आप को याद कराओ, आई हैव टू कन्वर्ट माई वरी टाइम इनटू स्टडी टाइम. इसके अलावा स्टूडेंट लाइफ में कई ऐसी बातें होती है जो हमें इमोशनली डिस्टर्ब कर जाती हैं और उस स्ट्रेस की वजह से भी हमारी कंसंट्रेशन नहीं बन पाती. फॉर एग्जांपल, पेरेंट्स से कोई आर्ग्यूमेंट हो गया, किसी फ्रेंड से कोई झगड़ा हो गया, रिलेशंस में कोई प्रॉब्लम हो गई या किसी चीज पे गुस्सा आ रहा है. उस वजह से भी हमारा ध्यान बार बार डिस्ट्रैक्ट होता है और हम कंसंट्रेट नहीं कर पाते. कोशिश करो कि इन प्रॉब्लम्स को आप लिंगर ऑन ना करो, इनको सॉल्व करो, इनको डिस्कस करो. अपने फायदे के लिए अपने आप को खुश रखो. किसी से झगड़ा हो गया, किसी से प्रॉब्लम हो गई है, किसी ने कुछ कह दिया है, तो 2 लाइंस याद करो और वापस अपनी पढ़ाई में कंसंट्रेट करो. 2 लाइंस अपने आप को बोलो, जिंदगी को मैंने कुछ इस कदर आसान कर दिया, किसी से माफी मांग ली, किसी को माफ कर दिया. सो अपने आप को लाइट रखो, स्ट्रेस फ्री रखो, खुश रखो, अपने मुंह पे एक स्माइल रखो. आपकी कंसंट्रेशन में फर्क पड़ेगा. 4th पॉइंट इज डाइट. एग्जाम्स के दिनों में या क्रूशियल पढ़ाई के दिनों में आपकी डाइट भी एक मेजर रोल प्ले करती है, क्योंकि आपकी डाइट डायरेक्टली आप
The 4th tip is right diet. It's very important.
ब्रेन की वर्किंग को अफेक्ट करती है. सो कुछ डूज बता रहा हूं जिसका आप अपनी डाइट में ख्याल रख सकते हैं. ग्रीन वेजिटेबल्स लो, येलो वेजिटेबल्स लो, होल फूड यानी कि अनप्रोसेस्ड और अनरिफाइंड फूड लो, नेचुरल शुगर यानी कि फ्रूट्स खा सकते हो, नट्स लीजिए यानी कि काजू, बादाम, पिस्ता. कोशिश करो अपने आप को हाइड्रेटेड रखो, यानी कि रेगुलरली पानी पीते रहो, इन बिटवीन जूसेस भी ले सकते हो. और हाँ, एक ही बार में ज्यादा खाने से अच्छा है कि आप रेगुलर मील्स लो, यानी कि हर 3 घंटे बाद एक लाइट मील ले लिया. कुछ डोंट्स भी है जिनका आपको अपनी डाइट में ध्यान रखना होगा. व्हाइट ब्रेड अवॉइड करो, पोटैटोज अवॉइड करो, आर्टिफिशियल शुगर यानी कि टॉफीज एंड कैंडीज अवॉइड करो, और एग्जाम्स में फ्राइड से तो दूर रहो. और ये जो कॉफीज एंड एनर्जी ड्रिंक्स हैं, ये आपको इमीडिएट पुश तो दे देती है, लेकिन ज्यादा लेने से इनका रिवर्स इफेक्ट भी होता है. पॉइंट नंबर 5, रिवार्ड योरसेल्फ, अपने आप को इंसेंटिव दो।
You need to reward yourself, you need to appreciate yourself. Whenever, for example, you are able to finish off preparing a question, then you need to appreciate yourself. You are able to meet your target of studying on a particular day. You need to reward yourself, you need to appreciate yourself.
तो बताओ कि अगर तूने 2 घंटे में ये वाला टास्क खत्म कर लिया, उसके बाद तुझे क्या रिवार्ड मिलने वाला है? अपना फेवरेट गाना सुना जाएगा, या अपने किसी फ्रेंड को कॉल की जाएगी, या अपनी फेवरेट गेम खेली जाएगी, या वॉक पे जाना है, या अपना कुछ फेवरेट खाना है। सो कोई भी ऐसा रिवार्ड, कोई भी ऐसी चीज, कोई भी ऐसा इंसेंटिव जिसके साथ आप अपने आप को टास्क पूरा करने पे शाबाशी दे सको। पॉइंट नंबर 6, बी रेडी। बहुत बार ऐसा होता है, पूरे जोश के साथ, पूरे मन के साथ पढ़ाई करने बैठते हैं, फिर याद आता है, ओ यार नोटबुक तो रह गई, नोटबुक, ओ यार पेन तो रह गया, फिर उठे, ओ यार मेरा तो वो स्केल रह गया, फिर बैठे। ऐसे कई बार उठने के साथ हम बार बार डिस्ट्रैक्ट होते हैं, और जो हमारा मूड बना होता है पढ़ाई करने,
Start preparing for your studies with all the necessary arrangements. So, notebooks, calculator, pen, textbooks, whatever you require to study. You try to arrange everything and start preparing for the same.
उस मूड की बैंड बज जाती है। सो जब भी पढ़ाई करने बैठो, अपना पूरा सामान, अपनी नोटबुक्स और कुछ स्नैकिंग के लिए अपने पास रख सकते हो, पानी की बोतल पास रख सकते हो, ताकि बार बार आपको उठना ना पड़े। पॉइंट नंबर 7, वॉच योर एनवायरनमेंट। अपनी पढ़ाई में ज्यादा कंसंट्रेट करने के लिए आपको अपने आसपास कंसंट्रेशन वाला एनवायरनमेंट भी बनाना होगा। कोशिश करो कि डेस्क पे बैठ के पढ़ो, टेबल और चेयर के साथ पढ़ो इंस्टेड ऑफ बेड, क्योंकि बेड पे आपका माइंड और आपकी बॉडी का रिलैक्स करने का दिल कर पड़ता है। अगर आपके स्टडी एरिया में कुछ ऐसी आवाजें आ रही है जिनको आप अवॉइड नहीं कर सकते, जैसे कि पड़ोस वाले आंटी आ गए, उनकी आवाज आ रही है, बाहर से ट्रैफिक की आवाज आ रही है, डॉग्स की बार्किंग की आवाज आ रही है, और दूसरे रूम से टीवी की आवाज आ रही है, जब भी ऐसी कोई सिचुएशन हो जहां पे आप आवाजों को अवॉइड नहीं कर सकते, तो उसका सोल्यूशन है व्हाइट नॉइज। व्हाइट नॉइज साउंड एक यूनिफॉर्म साउंड है जो आपका ध्यान अलग अलग साउंड्स की जगह सिर्फ एक साउंड पे रखेगी और आपकी कंसंट्रेशन में हेल्प करेगी। इसको आप गूगल पे सर्च कर सकते हो, और इंटरनेट पे बहुत सारी साइट्स में ये फ्री अवेलेबल है। इसको डाउनलोड कर सकते हो। जब भी बाहर की आवाजें आ रही हो और आपका ध्यान इधर उधर लगा रही हो, हेडफोन्स लगाओ, व्हाइट नॉइज ऑन करो और अपनी पढ़ाई में कंसंट्रेट करो। एक और चीज का आपको ध्यान रखना होगा, वो है पढ़ाई के टाइम पे आपका सेलफोन और इंटरनेट की यूसेज। फोन को हम साइलेंट पे रख देते हैं, कई बार फोन को साइलेंट करके हम पास में रख देते हैं, लेकिन हर 4-5 मिनट बाद उसको हल्का सा ऑन करके, लाइट ऑन करके चेक करते हैं कि कोई नोटिफिकेशन तो नहीं आई। अब नोटिफिकेशन नजर आ गई तो चलो देख भी लेते हैं, व्हाट्सएप की नोटिफिकेशन, फेसबुक की नोटिफिकेशन, अब देख लिया तो चलो रिप्लाई भी कर देते हैं, रिप्लाई किया तो चलो एक और रिप्लाई आ गया। करते करते एट द एंड हम सोचते हैं यार पढ़ने के लिए बैठे तो बहुत देर थे, लेकिन पढ़ाई कुछ खास हुई नहीं। सो पढ़ने के टाइम पे अगर इंटरनेट रिक्वायर्ड नहीं है तो इंटरनेट ऑफ कर दो। अपने फोन को आसपास नहीं, अपने फोन को अपने से दूर रखो कि मैं 2 घंटे के लिए पढ़ने बैठ रहा हूँ, 2 घंटे फोन मेरी अलमीरा में।
So keep away from internet and mobile phone, because whenever you get a notification you get distracted. So put it away from you.
ताकि जब हम फोन यूज करें तो फोन ढंग से यूज करें, जब पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं तो पूरी कंसंट्रेशन के साथ करें। पॉइंट नंबर 8, हैव अ वाई शीट। बहुत बार ऐसा होता है ना कि हम पढ़ने के लिए बैठे हैं और थोड़ी देर बाद हमें पता ही नहीं चलता हमारा ध्यान कहाँ उड़ा हुआ है।
Once a person knows why he needs to get success, then I don't find any reason for failure. So if you are very much sure of reasons for your success, why you should get success in your life, then automatically everything will get set right and you will be on the right track only.
कुछ और ही सोच रहे होते हैं, डे ड्रीम कर रहे होते हैं, फैंटेसाइज कर रहे होते हैं, किसी और ही दुनिया में चले जाते हैं। इसका सोल्यूशन है वाई शीट। जहां भी अपने अपने टास्क लिखे हैं या अपना टाइम टेबल लिखा है, उसके नीचे अपनी वाई शीट लगा दो। वाई शीट क्या है कि मेरे लिए ये पढ़ाई क्यों जरूरी है, मेरे लिए इस टास्क को।
So why these studies are important for me? Why it is important for me to finish this task? Why it is important for me to finish these studies?
करना क्यों जरूरी है, इससे मुझे क्या फायदा होगा, मुझे लाइफ में, मेरे फ्यूचर में इसका क्या फायदा होगा, मुझे फाइनेंशियली कैसा फायदा होगा, मेरे लाइफस्टाइल को कैसा फायदा होगा, मेरी सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट को कैसा फायदा होगा, मेरे पेरेंट्स को कैसा लगेगा, क्या रीजन है जिसकी वजह से इस टाइम पे मेरे लिए पढ़ाई करना जरूरी है। जब भी आपका ध्यान इधर उधर जाए, जब भी ध्यान फैंटेसाइज करे, डे ड्रीम करे, सामने अपनी वाई शीट को देखो, दोबारा पढ़ो, इमीडिएट मोटिवेशन मिलेगी, इमीडिएट रीजंस मिलेंगे वापस पढ़ाई पे जाने का, और बेटर कंसंट्रेशन बनेगी। पॉइंट नंबर 9, डू क्रिटिकल टास्क फर्स्ट। जब हम पढ़ने बैठते हैं तो हमारा कंसंट्रेशन लेवल बहुत हाई होता है, और जैसे जैसे हम पढ़ते जाते हैं,
So prioritize your works. Whatever the critical tasks or critical topics you need to read, better to put in the beginning, because in the beginning of your preparation, the concentration levels will be at the peak. But after preparing for 2 to 3 hours, your concentration levels will gradually come down. That's why whatever the critical tasks are there, try to finish off in the beginning itself.
थोड़ा थोड़ा एग्जॉस्ट होता जाता है, इसलिए जरूरी है कि पहले आप क्रिटिकल टास्क करो ताकि आपकी हाईएस्ट कंसंट्रेशन मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट टास्क पे लगे। और वैसे भी अगर हम इजी चीजें पहले कर रहे हैं और मुश्किल चीजों को बाद में छोड़ रहे हैं तो हमें शुरू से ही माइंड में वो लगा रहता है, एक प्रेशर रहता है, एक स्ट्रेस रहता है कि इसके बाद वो मुश्किल वाली चीज करनी है। तो
So if you are very much worried about a particular subject, then try to finish off that particular first.
कहीं ना कहीं हमारी कंसंट्रेशन और खराब होती है। अगर हम पहले मुश्किल वाली कर रहे हैं, उसको डाइजेस्ट कर रहे हैं, उसके बाद हम लाइट रहते हैं कि इसके बाद तो इजी चीजें आने वाली हैं। 10th पॉइंट यानी कि लास्ट पॉइंट, मेडिटेशन एंड योगा। योगा और मेडिटेशन आपकी कंसंट्रेशन की पावर्स में वंडर कर सकती है। मेडिटेशन और योगा में ऐसी बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जिसके साथ आप अपनी कंसंट्रेशन के लेवल को बढ़ा सकते हो। लेकिन अगर आपके पास टाइम कम है तो मैं आपको कुछ क्विक टिप्स देता हूं जिसके साथ आप अपनी रेगुलर लाइफ में ज्यादा टाइम निकाले बिना अपनी कंसंट्रेशन को बढ़ा सकते हो। जैसे कि सुबह उठे तो 5 मिनट 7 मिनट किसी एक साउंड पे कंसंट्रेट किया, किसी एक चीज पे कंसंट्रेट किया, शायद बाहर से बर्ड्स की आवाज आ रही है उस पे कर लिया, फैन की आवाज आ रही है उस पे कर लिया, बाहर हल्की हल्की ट्रैफिक की वॉइस है उसको कर लिया। किसी एक चीज पे आप अपने माइंड को कंसंट्रेट कराओ, थोड़े थोड़े देर रोज करो और इस पैन को बढ़ाते जाओ। आपको नजर आएगा कि आपकी कंसंट्रेशन में बहुत बड़ी इंप्रूवमेंट आ रही है। इसके अलावा जब भी आप ब्रेक लो तो आप डीप ब्रीदिंग कर सकते हो। डीप ब्रीदिंग के साथ आपकी ऑक्सीजन सप्लाई जो ब्रेन को जा रही है वो बढ़ जाती है। इसके अलावा अगर आपके पास टाइम है तो आप योगा में भ्रामरी प्राणायाम कर सकते हैं, सूर्य नमस्कार कर सकते हैं, सर्वांग आसन कर सकते हैं। तो ये थी 10 टिप्स जिसके साथ आप अपनी पढ़ाई में, अपनी स्टडी में ज्यादा कंसंट्रेट कर सकते हो, बेटर रिजल्ट ला सकते हो। तो एक बार इन 10 टिप्स को रिवाइज कर लेते हैं, एक बार समराइज कर लेते हैं। So point number 1, write timetable. Number 2, take proper sleep. Number 3, avoid stress. Number 4, watch your diet. Number 5, reward yourself. Number 6, be prepared. Number 7, watch your environment. Number 8, have a why sheet. Number 9, do the critical tasks first. And number 10, meditation and yoga. So I hope कि ये 10 टिप्स आपके काम आएंगी, आपकी स्टडी में, आपकी पढ़ाई में आपको फायदा देंगी।
So these are the 10 tips you need to follow for better concentration on your studies. Several students will be asking this doubt: is it really required to memorize and reproduce what is given in legal papers? Yes, it is required. As far as legal papers are concerned, like law, taxation, in all these papers, you are supposed to reproduce what is given in the material. In simple words, even the Supreme Court judge will not have a right to modify even a single full stop or comma in a legal, in an act. That's why students are supposed to memorize and reproduce what is given in the legal paper as it is. They are not supposed to write the legal papers in their own language. Similarly, in case of technical papers like EIS, strategic management, in all these areas, you are supposed to write in a technical language. In simple words, what is given in the material. You are not supposed to write the content in your own words. Yes, it is required to reproduce the provisions in legal papers. No need of same with respect to examples and other explanation. Examples and other explanation you can write on your own. That's not a big issue. But remaining areas you have to reproduce as it is. Forget about law. Every religion has its own holy book. Is it possible to make any modification in that holy book? No. Everyone has to preach the same. Is it possible to any preacher to make even a slight modification in that? No way. They have to follow the same. Similarly, even in our case, we cannot make any modifications in the legal papers. So you cannot make any modifications in them. Is it possible to remember the things for which we don't know the meaning? Fortunately, in our case, we know the meaning of the same. But just for the sake of examination, we are memorizing and trying to reproduce the same. But in our real life, you can have several examples where we are able to memorize and reproduce the same even if we don't remember the meaning of the same. For example, at your 10th and intermediate level, you are able to score 99 and 98 marks in your Sanskrit subject even if you don't know even a single meaning of a single sentence. So you don't know the meaning of even a single sentence, but still you are able to score 98 or 99 marks in your Sanskrit subject. Why? how it became possible? Have you ever analyzed how you are able to deal with that subject even though you doesn't know anything about that particular meaning of any of the sentences in that subject? The reason is very simple. Repeated revision. In your classroom itself, your faculty might have made you to repeat various sentences of Sanskrit which you are supposed to reproduce the same in the examination. With that, everything got strongly registered in your mind. Same is the case here also. If you revise the things repeatedly, then you can reproduce the same in the examination even if you don't know the meaning of the same. Of course, fortunately, you know the meaning of the same, but you need to memorize and reproduce the same in the public examination. See how a priest in temple is able to chant mantras even though he doesn't know the meaning of the same. See how doctors are able to memorize the names of body parts and various medicines even though they don't have any logic or meanings for the same. See how an astronaut is able to memorize the names of various objects in space even though there is no particular logic to remember the same. See how a software engineer is able to memorize commands and syntax of programming languages even though there is no logic for the same. See how people aspiring for government jobs are able to memorize various questions related to history, geography, etc. even though they doesn't know the meaning of the same. That's why, my dear students, it is possible, yes, it is possible to remember the things even if you don't know the meaning of the same, provided you revise the same, you read them for repeated number of times. You read it for multiple times, repeatedly, then automatically things will get remembered and you would not pay any special efforts to remember the same. So I have a small video on the same. Here is a small boy called Kalu. So he is not an educated person, but he is able to speak in various languages with the tourists. He is acting as a tourist guide.
Want to welcome to Gwalior Fort. Now we continue to show the fort. Buongiorno.
Remember, he is speaking in English.
Want to welcome to Gwalior Fort. Now we continue to show the fort. Buongiorno. Krasiva.
कालू इसी तरह एक सांस में कई भाषाएं बोलता है ताकि दुनिया भर के देशों से ग्वालियर पहुंचने वाले सैलानियों का भारत की बेमिसाल.
He is acting as a tourist guide in Gwalior. So he is able to speak multiple languages even though he is not educated. So to be able to speak in a language, you need not be educated. So it is sufficient to observe how people are speaking and to reproduce the same words. If you have correct answer to the question why, then you can memorize anything in this world. Because it is his bread and butter. It is his livelihood. Without that, he cannot survive. So that made him to remember everything. Yes, it is possible to memorize anything even without knowing its meaning, provided you have strong urge, strong desire to remember the same. You can remember anything in this world if you repeat the same for a number of times, and there is no compulsion that you know the meaning of the same. It is good if you are able to know the meaning, but it's not required. To speak in any language, you need not be educated. Now, 11 secrets to memorize things quicker than others. Here is a small video.
About some simple memorizing tips and a universal formula that will retrieve.
Because theory subjects generally requires memorizing skills. That's why I thought of including this video here.
Any information from your memory when you need it. For starters, let's talk about why we forget things. Your brain is like a hard drive. The space is limited. Remember Sherlock Holmes? He couldn't name all the planets of the solar system. This was not because he missed school or something like that, but because he was too smart to have such irrelevant information in his memory. He deliberately erased facts he would never need. This is what your brain does. It protects you from overloading with information. That's why all new data is stored in the short-term memory, not the long one. So if you don't repeat it or use it, you forget it very quickly.
So if you don't use it or repeat it, you will forget it quickly. So that's why if you keep on revising the things, then they will get retained for a longer number of days.
A German psychologist, Hermann Ebbinghaus, researched the memory and its mechanisms. He described the forgetting curve, which shows that just 1 hour after learning something new, we forget more than half of the learned information.
So within just 1 hour, we are going to forget around more than 50% of what you have learned. After 1 month, you will be hardly able to remember only 10% of what you have learned. So that means, if you read something today and don't revise the same within a month, then you are bound to forget around 90% of what you have read today.
I'm sorry, what was that? Anyway, 1 day later, we remember only about 30%. Well, you can see where this is going.
So after 1 day, you will be hardly remember only 30% that what you have read. That means today, if you finished a particular chapter and if you don't revise tomorrow, then only 30% of what you have learned will be retained and 70% will be automatically deleted. Even without any intervention, it gets deleted.
So, how to remember everything? There is a memorization technique called spaced repetition. To keep some information in your head for a longer time, you need to try to put it into your long-term memory. Forced memorization is not very effective in this case because your brain can't make sense of the information quickly and form strong associations. Here, it all depends on the reason why you are learning something. How to memorize something quickly.
Spaced repetition. That means repeating what you have learned repeatedly with a particular time gap.
First situation is when you need to learn the information quickly, use it once, and forget most of it. This looks like a typical exam preparation, right? If you've been in a situation where you had only one night to prepare for an exam, give this video a like. To memorize something quickly, repeat the information right after learning it. The second repetition.
So the first revision should be done immediately after learning. That means in the classroom itself, your first revision must be completed.
Could be after 15 to 20 minutes.
So within 15 to 20 minutes, your second revision must be done.
You don't need to return to the information between repetitions. Just rest and do something different. Let your brain relax. Repeat the learned material the third time after 6 to 8 hours. And you should have the final repetition 24.
Fourth repetition within 1 day. That means whatever you have read today, tomorrow you must first revise them first. After that, you need to start reading new questions.
Hours after the first contact with the information. Try this method next time you need to memorize something quickly and tell us how it worked in the comment section. Don't forget. Now, how to memorize something for a long time. If you want to remember things for a long time,
just like preparing for an exam,
you need to extend the memorization period. Here's the memorization plan. The first repetition should be right after learning, just like in the previous technique. Repeat the material after 20 to 30 minutes. And here, things are different. The third repetition should be only after 1
So within 1 day, you must be in a position to repeat the same
day. The next one after 2 to 3 weeks.
So within 2 to 3 weeks, you must be able to revise the same again.
And the final round is after 2 to 3 months. This way, you can learn
So this exactly suits our exam preparation.
something for a very long time because the brain thinks that if you return to the information, it means that it's necessary, so it doesn't
So when you repeat the same for a number of times, brain thinks that it's very important and tries to retain the same.
get erased. Now, here are 11 simple tips that will help you memorize things easier and faster. Counting down from number 11, try to understand what you learn. You probably know the feeling when you're learning something but you don't understand the information. Usually, such learning turns into a nightmare because it looks like learning a poem that has no rhyme. Another bad thing about learning something you don't understand is that if you forget some part of it, you will not be able to continue because...
So the most important thing is you must be able to understand what you are learning. So first revision, whatever your first revision is there, you try to spend time on understanding what is given in the material.
You have only memorized the order of words, not their actual meaning. That's why we don't recommend doing it this way. What you should do is read the entire piece of information and figure out what the main point or points are. Try to retell what you have read using your own words. Do it as simply as you can. If you are successful, that means you understood the information, and now it will be way easier to memorize the details. Number 10. Learn the most necessary information. If you feel like you have too much on your plate, set your priorities correctly. Decide what you have to know and what you can do without just fine. After that, focus on the key parts of what you need to memorize. If you find some time to devote to the less important information, great.
So give first priority to topmost important areas, then focus on lesser important areas. It applies to your studies also. First start your preparation with more important areas. Based on availability of time, then focus on lesser important areas.
Number 9. Serial position effect. No, this is not when you position your Cheerios on the right side. When learning something new, remember this. Things that are at the beginning and the end are memorized the best. Use this effect to your advantage. Sort the information so that the key parts are at the beginning and at the end. Number 8. Interference theory. Switch your attention from one topic to another, from one activity to another.
So this we can apply in such a manner that try to switch over from one subject to another subject so as to maintain your concentration levels.
For example, you're preparing for a public talk. You've learned the text for 15 minutes. It's time to take a break. Rest every 15 to 20 minutes, because this is the period when attention is at its best, and people usually stop being attentive. So, the best thing you can do is switch to something completely different, like playing the guitar or watching a Brightside video. Another thing you should be careful with is learning some similar information. Interference theory suggests that similar memories get mixed and become a mess. That's why, if you know you're about to learn something that at least remotely resembles what you've already learned, we recommend taking a long break before starting something new. Number 7. Learn opposite things. Opposites are easily memorized in pairs. For example, if you're learning a new language, memorize day and night together. This way, you will build a connection between these two things in your mind. So, if you forget one of them, the second one will help you recall. Number 6. Build your own mind palace. And this is about Sherlock Holmes again. Do you remember how he could travel in his mind palace for hours, looking for the necessary information?
Get out, I need to go to my mind palace.
The idea is to associate certain things with a certain place. For example, if you are in your room, try to connect the thing you are learning to something in your room. Repeat it a few times. After that, try to recall what the room looks like in your memory and repeat the things you learned this way. Or try this. Divide all the material you need to memorize into a few parts. Learn these parts in different parts of your apartment, or better, in different places in your city. This way, the memorized information won't be something dull or boring. It will be associated with some other memories, smells of places, people you saw there, and so on. Number 5. Use nail words. The point of this technique is to nail one learned thing to another. For example, if you need to memorize the French for nail, you should also look up wall, hammer, and other words you can logically connect to nail. Number 4. Make up stories. If you need to memorize a lot of information in a particular order, try to put the pieces into a story. It's important that the pieces are
This is nothing but visualization.
connected to each other with some kind of plot. So, if you accidentally forget something, you can always recall what was supposed to happen next in the story. Yes, this might seem like you need even more effort, but it's true. Believe us, it works wonders. Number 3. Use a tape recorder. Actually, does anybody use a tape recorder anymore? Well,
So now what you can do is use your cell phone to record the same.
record the information somehow you are learning and listen to the recording a few times. Yes, it might take you some time.
So it may not work out for you to record everything, but you can do what you can do is you try to record even at least the short notes, that is quick revision notes, and try to replay the same multiple times and try to listen to it for multiple times. It is almost like doing a revision.
And to get used to the sound of your voice, like I had to do, it might seem strange or unpleasant in the beginning. This method is handy because it allows all types of memory work, First, you read the information, so you saw it with your eyes, and then you heard it with your ears. The more contact you have with what you are learning, the better you memorize it. Number 2, visualize. Use your body language when learning. This will help you trigger your muscle memory. And number 1, choose only the best materials. Don't use outdated books and methods of learning. Things have changed a lot since the books were written. Don't waste your time on something that may turn out to be wrong. Go online and check the most recent information on the subject.
So these are the 11 tips for improving your memory.
What is the...
Now, persistence. So, if you want to achieve result in any field, you need to work persistently. Persistent means something that is continuous, like when you keep trying to accomplish something even though it is difficult. You need to work hard persistently, that is continuously, repeatedly. Then only you can achieve something. See how water can cut a rock. Sometimes a water falling from the top, water droplets falling from the top will be able to cut a rock in the bottom. You can observe such kind of incidents. It shows that the power of persistence. When you do even small things persistently, it will create wonders. See how sportsmen need to perform persistently. For example, look at a cricketer. So he needs to perform persistently in every match. It's not like he performs good in one match but not the other. It's not going to be, he's not going to be selected. So a cricketer will be selected only if he performs consistently, persistently. Occasional performance is not going to work out. Similarly, the same thing will apply to you also. Occasional performance will not work out. Occasional preparation will not work out. You need to prepare consistently, that is persistently. Have you ever wondered how you are able to chant Vishnu Sahasranama without knowing their meaning? Several people doesn't know the meaning of Vishnu Sahasranama, but they are able to chant. How is it possible? Because they are repeating the same consistently. Every day they try to chant the same for multiple number of days. After chanting the same for 1 month or 2 months, they'll get memorize everything. So the 1000 names, Vishnu Sahasranama consists of 1000 names. All those 1000 names will not have any logic, will not have any meaning. Even if there is a meaning, we doesn't know the meaning of the same. But people are able to chant because they work persistently. How you are able to remember the order of playing the songs in an album which you listen repeatedly? If you have a habit of listening to music and in a particular album there are 10 songs, and if you listen to those 10 songs repeatedly, then you can tell the order without putting any additional efforts to memorize the same. How you are able to remember the lyrics of a song without putting any additional efforts to memorize the same? So let us imagine there is a song which you like most and you try to listen to the same repeatedly, something like every day. Then after 1 week or 10 days, you will be able to even tell the lyrics of the song without putting any additional efforts. How you are able to remember a route which you travel frequently without any additional efforts. So you are able to remember the routes to several areas which you travel repeatedly. Of course, for remaining things you need to take the help of Google Maps. But the routes in which you travel frequently, you doesn't need Google Maps help. You are able to memorize everything. How you are able to remember the contact numbers of persons whom you interact regularly. So if you interact regularly with a particular person, then you will be able to memorize his mobile number even if it is not a fancy number. How students preparing for IIT JEE are able to remember the shortcuts even though they don't know the logic. So in generally competitive examinations, several students need to memorize the shortcuts. There is no other option. So they remember the shortcuts even though they don't know the logic of the same. So don't forget how you learned theorems in intermediate level without knowing their meaning. Because you have repeated them for multiple times. You have revised them for multiple times. Let us check if you can recite Vande Mataram or not. You might have learnt it at your childhood, but even now you are able to remember because you have repeated it for multiple times. So similarly, If you repeat anything for multiple times consistently, that is persistently, so obviously you are going to remember the same for a longer period of time because they will get registered in your permanent memory. So let us apply the same logic in our theory subjects also. There you get cumulative revision. There you get cumulative revision. That is revising the theory subjects repeatedly, consistently, persistently so as to memorize the same on a permanent basis. Reading theory subjects thoroughly for one time will not serve any purpose. So just by reading for one time, you may feel that you are able to learn, but later on you cannot reproduce. One has to keep on revising the same repeatedly to memorize it for longer period of time. At the end of the day, before going to bed, revise all the questions read by you on that day in all the subjects. Of course, you can do it even in quick revision notes also. That is one revision you need to do. As I have already told, immediately after completion of class, try to finish first revision. So by the end of the day, try to do second revision. Next day, before starting to read new questions, first revise the questions completed yesterday. In this manner, every day you should learn some new questions and should also revise the questions completed on the previous days. This is called cumulative revision. Before starting preparation of new chapter, first revise all the chapters completed so far at least once. It may not be possible to do in your main material, but at least do it in quick revision notes. Before appearing for public exams, you shall be in a position to revise the quick revision notes at least for 20 times. If you revise for 20 times, then you are bound to reproduce anything in the examination. So how much you can memorize after watching a movie? If you watch the same movie again with a shorter time gap, then you can observe several new points which you have ignored earlier. Generally, watching a movie is an interesting thing for us. Even in such kind of interesting thing, after watching a movie for 1.5 hours, you will hardly be able to reproduce 15 to 20 minutes of movie only. But if you watch the same movie again, you may be able to reproduce 30 to 40 minutes of movie. If you watch the same movie again, you may be able to reproduce around 1 hour of movie. So, even in case of interesting things like movies, you are not able to reproduce everything. But how can you suppose that you are able to reproduce everything in case of studies which you generally feel to be boring? Don't forget that reading theory subjects is boring activity for several students when compared to watching a movie. When you are not able to reproduce a movie after watching it for one time, how can you reproduce the theory content in public exams after reading it for one time? On one hand, movie seems to be a very interesting thing and reading a theory subject is a boring thing for several students. That's why you need to revise theory subjects for multiple times. On the other hand, see how you are forgetting things which you are not revising in regular intervals. When you don't revise the things in regular intervals, you are bound to forget the same. How we add new friends? So adding new friends is important, good, but you need to spend time on old friends also. Then only the friendship will continue with old friends. Similarly, reading new questions is important, but you need to spend time on old questions also so as to retain them. Otherwise, what happens? You will be simply forgetting what you have learned earlier. So develop cheat codes. Cheat codes are nothing but making a meaningful sentence with the first letters of all the side headings which we need to remember. So there is a small example. Please do not throw salted pizza away. So actually we have developed this cheat code for remembering the network layers. These are all the layers in a networking protocol. So 7 layers. So to remember all these 7 layers, we have developed a cheat code called please do not throw salted pizza away. So we have highlighted the first letter of each word. It's nothing but based on that first letter we can develop a side heading. So here is a small technique for speed reading, because if you are able to read fastly, then you can save some of your preparation time.
पता है कि एनी जॉन्स नाम की एक लेडी 2.5 लाख वर्ड्स की बुक हैरी पॉटर एंड द डेथली हैलोस को 47 मिनट में पढ़ के खत्म कर दी, और वही कोई एवरेज रीडर सेम बुक को पढ़े तो 15 से 20 घंटे लगेंगे। हमें एनी जॉन्स की जितनी स्पीड बनाने की जरूरत नहीं है, लेकिन अगर हम अपनी रीडिंग स्पीड को बढ़ा लें, अपनी एग्जिस्टिंग स्पीड से ज्यादा कर लें, तो हम सेम टाइम में ज्यादा पढ़ सकते हैं, ज्यादा समझ सकते हैं और बचे हुए टाइम को कई जगह और यूज कर सकते हैं। हमारी रीडिंग
जस्ट रिमेंबर व्हेन यू आर ड्राइविंग ए व्हीकल, your attention levels will be very high when you are driving fastly. Your attention levels will be very poor when driving slowly. So I am not supporting fast driving, but what I mean to say is your attention levels will be more when driving fastly. Similarly, if you read fastly, your attention levels will be more.
स्लो होने का सबसे बड़ा जो कारण है ना, वो है सब वोकलाइजेशन। सब वोकलाइजेशन का मतलब है कि जब हम कुछ पढ़ रहे होते हैं तो पढ़ने वक्त साथ साथ मन में बोल रहे होते हैं। अभी स्क्रीन पे कुछ लाइंस आएंगी, उनको पढ़ के देखना। जब आप पढ़ोगे तो नोटिस करना आप साथ साथ वो लाइंस मन में बोल रहे हो। तो ये होती है सब वोकलाइजेशन। अब सब वोकलाइजेशन की वजह से होता क्या है, जो हमारा दिमाग है ना, वो फास्ट पढ़ने की कैपेसिटी रखता है, हमारी आंखें तेज चलने की कैपेसिटी रखती हैं, लेकिन हमारे दिमाग को और हमारी आंखों को अपनी स्पीड स्लो करनी पड़ती है, कम करनी पड़ती है, क्योंकि उन्हें एडजस्ट करना है, मैच करना है हमारी बोलने की स्पीड, जो हम मन में बोल रहे हैं उस स्पीड के साथ। मतलब दिमाग तेज चल सकता है, आंखें तेज चल सकती हैं, लेकिन हम इससे तेज बोल तो नहीं सकते ना, इसीलिए हमारी रीडिंग स्पीड तेज नहीं हो पाती, फास्ट नहीं हो पाती। फिर से ये लाइंस पढ़ो जो स्क्रीन पे आई हैं और नोटिस करो जो आपके मन में बोलने की स्पीड है, मन में टॉकिंग स्पीड है, वही आपकी रीडिंग स्पीड है। अब ये सब वोकलाइजेशन आई कहां से और क्या ये जरूरी है? बचपन में जब हम जूनियर क्लासेस में थे, स्कूल में थे, तो हमें ये सिखाया गया था कि बोल बोल के पढ़ना है, बोल बोल के याद रखना है। टीचर कहते थे ए फॉर एप्पल, हम पूरी क्लास पीछे से ए फॉर एप्पल, बी फॉर बॉय, सारी क्लास बी फॉर बॉय। वहीं से हमें आदत पड़ गई कि बोल बोल के पढ़ो, बोल बोल के याद करो, और हमारा मन पढ़ने वक्त साथ साथ बोलना शुरू हो गया। उस टाइम पे ये जरूरी था जब हमें लर्निंग शुरू करनी थी, वो लेवल 1 था। जैसे गेम में कई सारे लेवल होते हैं ना, लेवल 1, लेवल 2, लेवल 3, और हम आगे बढ़ते जाते हैं। हम अभी तक लेवल 1 पे रुके हुए हैं, अभी भी बोल बोल के पढ़ रहे हैं, बोल बोल के याद कर रहे हैं। इस चीज को अब हम खत्म कर सकते हैं और नेक्स्ट लेवल पे जा सकते हैं। और अगर उस चीज को खत्म कर लिया तो हमारी रीडिंग स्पीड बढ़ती जाएगी। जैसे जैसे सब वोकलाइजेशन कम होती जाएगी, हमारी रीडिंग स्पीड बढ़ती जाएगी। और ये कैसे करना है वो मैं आपको अभी बता।
So you need to reduce sub vocalization, which increases the reading speed.
जा रहा हूं। स्टेप 1, यूज पॉइंटर। सबसे पहले आप पेन, पेंसिल या फिंगर को पॉइंटर की तरह यूज करना शुरू करो। टेक्स्ट के साथ साथ मूव करो, फिंगर चलती जाए और आप टेक्स्ट पढ़ते जाओ। इससे होता क्या है, जब हम पॉइंटर नहीं यूज करते ना, जब हम पढ़ रहे होते हैं तो हमारी आईज एक टाइम पे बहुत कुछ देख रही होती है, जाने अनजाने।
So pointer technique. So in this technique you need to use your finger as pointer and try to move the finger. Wherever your finger moves, you need to focus on that particular sentence. So as your pointer speed increases, your reading speed also increases.
हमारी आईज ये भी देख रही होती क्या निकल चुका है, क्या आने वाला है, और हमारा अटेंशन जो है वो वाइड रहता है। लेकिन अगर हम पॉइंटर यूज करते हैं तो हमारा फोकस उस टेक्स्ट पे है जिस पे हमें फोकस करना है, जो हमें पढ़ना है। इस वजह से डाइवर्जन नहीं होती और हमारी रीडिंग स्पीड बढ़ जाती है। सेकंड टिप, फोर्स फास्टर रीडिंग। नई आदत डालनी है तो पुरानी आदत तोड़नी होगी। जब भी फास्ट रीडिंग की प्रैक्टिस करनी हो, एक टेक्स्ट
If you want to learn a new thing, you need to unlearn the old things.
और अपनी नॉर्मल रीडिंग स्पीड से तेज अपने पॉइंटर को चलाओ। मतलब नॉर्मल रीडिंग स्पीड से तेज पढ़ने की आदत डालो। इससे होगा क्या, आपका मन फॉलो नहीं कर पाएगा, कभी कुछ बोल पाएगा, कुछ नहीं बोल पाएगा, आप भागते जाओगे। यस, आपको कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा होगा, लेकिन आपकी आदत टूट रही होगी। आपके ब्रेन को अडेप्ट करना पड़ेगा नई स्पीड के साथ। मन की आवाज को सुने बिना पढ़ने की आदत डालनी होगी। जब वो पढ़ गई तो उसके पास तो कैपेसिटी है समझने की। जब उसको आदत पड़ गई कि मन की आवाज को फॉलो नहीं करना, वो फास्ट स्पीड में टेक्स्ट को पढ़ता जाएगा, समझता जाएगा। शुरू में प्रॉब्लम आएगी, लेकिन धीरे धीरे आपकी स्पीड बढ़ जाएगी। स्टेप 3, एक्टिव रीडिंग। स्टेप 2 में हमने समझा कि कैसे हम कुछ टाइम रोज निकाल के अपने माइंड को हैबिट दे सकते हैं फास्ट रीडिंग की। लेकिन थर्ड टिप में मैं बात कर रहा हूं एक्टिव रीडिंग की। एक्टिव रीडिंग से मेरा क्या कॉन्टेक्स्ट है? बेसिकली जब हम पढ़ते हैं ना, तो हम एक ही तरीके से, एक ही टोन में पढ़ते जाते हैं। इंपॉर्टेंट एंड अनइंपॉर्टेंट कंटेंट सेम तरीके से पढ़ते जाते हैं। टेक्स्ट पढ़ते जाएंगे, वो दिमाग में बसता जाएगा। लेकिन एक्टिव रीडिंग का मतलब है कि एक्टिव तरीके से टेक्स्ट को पढ़ना, देखना कि क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्या अनइंपॉर्टेंट है। जहां लगे अनइंपॉर्टेंट है, राइटर बेस बना रहा है, कवर कर रहा है, वहां पे पॉइंटर को तेज तेज चलाओ। और जहां पे लगे ये टेक्स्ट मेरे लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है, मुझे रिटेन करना है, वहां पॉइंटर की स्पीड स्लो कर दो। मतलब जो इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है वो खिसकता जाए, जो इंपॉर्टेंट है वहां रुकते जाए। खुद से देखना, खुद से टेक्स्ट को दिमाग में बिठाना, एक्टिव तरीके से पढ़ना कि कहां क्या कौन सी काम की चीज है। ऐसा करने से आपकी स्पीड भी बढ़ती है और आप ज्यादा लर्न कर पाते हो, ज्यादा नॉलेज को रिटेन कर पाते हो। इन तीनों स्टेप्स को इफेक्टिवली यूज करने के लिए एक चीज मैं जरूर कहूंगा कि आपको अपनी रीडिंग स्पीड पता होनी चाहिए, उसको कैलकुलेट करो। ये करना बहुत ही आसान है, मैं आपको बता देता हूं कैसे। कोई एक बुक जो आप पढ़ना चाहते हो, उसका एक पेज निकाल लो। उस पेज पे जो पहली 5 लाइंस है उसके वर्ड्स काउंट करो। जो भी टोटल नंबर ऑफ वर्ड्स हो उसको 5 के साथ डिवाइड कर दो, क्योंकि 5 लाइंस थी। सो मान लीजिए 60 वर्ड्स थे 5 लाइंस में, तो 60 डिवाइडेड बाय 5 यानी कि एवरेज 12 वर्ड्स पर लाइन है इस बुक में। अब टाइमर लगाओ, 1 मिनट का टाइम सेट कर लो। जैसे टाइमर को स्टार्ट करो, पढ़ना शुरू कर दो। एग्जैक्ट 1 मिनट बाद जैसे ही टाइमर बंद हो, आप भी पढ़ना स्टॉप कर दो। अब देखो कि आपने कितनी लाइंस पढ़ी हैं। एग्जांपल लेते हैं कि आपने 1 मिनट में 20 लाइंस पढ़ी और आपको यह पता है कि एक लाइन में 12 वर्ड्स हैं, तो 20 को 12 से मल्टीप्लाई कर दो, मतलब आपने 1 मिनट में 240 वर्ड्स पढ़े हैं। तो आपकी रीडिंग स्पीड हुई 240 वर्ड्स पर मिनट। नए रिकॉर्ड बनाने के लिए क्या करना होगा? पुराने रिकॉर्ड को तोड़ना होगा। तो जो भी आपकी रीडिंग स्पीड निकलती है उसको तोड़ते जाओ और आगे बढ़ते जाओ, खुद को चैलेंज करते जाओ। उससे ऑटोमेटिकली आपको ट्रिगर मिलेगा और अपने पे वर्क करने का, इन स्टेप्स को फॉलो करने का, अपनी रीडिंग स्पीड को बढ़ाने का। एक बार इस वीडियो को समराइज कर लेते हैं सो दैट इस वीडियो के की पॉइंट्स आप।
So this is a small tip to improve your reading speed that will also improve your efficiency. Right preparation. You must possess at least expert knowledge in at least 40% syllabus, moderate knowledge in 40% syllabus, and a novel reading is remaining 20% syllabus. Even in the 20% unimportant areas, a novel reading is required. You cannot completely eliminate and ignore the same. Read each question, write that question, and evaluate the same on your own. Try to write it on paper without looking at the answer. At least do it in the subjects in which you are not scoring good marks. If you feel that you cannot do it with all the subjects, then do it at least with the subjects in which you are scoring lesser marks. As a last resort, at least do it for the chapters of good weightage in the exam. If you feel that you don't have enough time for doing that also, then at least do it with respect to at least important chapters, that is high weightage chapters in a particular subject which you are feeling tough. Can take some questions as choice in each chapter, but never take some subjects or chapters as choice. It's very risky. Never take a particular chapter as risky as choice in professional courses. So for example, in the previous examinations, in all previous examinations, so CA Institute has given only 10 marks from a particular chapter. So based on that, you may feel that you can take the 10 marks question as choice. But all of a sudden, CA Institute may cover around 30 marks from the same chapter. So such kind of things will happen. That's why never take a particular chapter as choice. Instead, you identify the unimportant areas in each chapter and you can take those areas as choice. So don't take entire chapter as choice. In theory subjects, you can have practical questions and case laws which are very important, which are very scoring. Try to pay more attention on them. Pay special attention on objective type questions like true or false statements, differences and definitions, since they are very scoring areas. In case of legal papers like taxation, company law, application of knowledge is very important because you are not supposed to reproduce the answer given in the exam. They are not going to ask you direct questions. You must be in a position to apply what you have learned in the examination. In legal papers and technical papers, you cannot write the exam in your own words. You must reproduce the content as it is. This I have already covered. So from where to prepare, you need to learn. The best sources are ICA sources. Alternatively, you can choose sources available in the market, materials available in the market, which are very much similar to ICA sources. The best example is Mastermind's material. So even though we have prepared our own material, but we never deviate from ICA sources. Our materials are almost like a replica of ICA sources. In such a case, you can rely on such kind of materials. Either you can choose ICA sources or you can choose Mastermind's materials or similar materials which are developed very much similar to that of ICA sources. At CA or CMA final level, it is recommended to refer one other book also in addition to study material. Of course, at CA inter-level or foundation level, it is not required to refer any additional materials. Mastermind's material is highly enough. So there are several simplified materials or easy materials available in the market. I don't recommend you to follow them because the answer which you are going to write must be very much similar to what is given in ICA sources. If the material is so much, very much simplified, then it will be far away from what is given in the ICA sources and you will not be able to score good marks. That's why we always recommend students to prepare in ICA sources or some other materials which are very much similar to ICA sources. Is good presentation important? Yes, it is important. If presentation is not important, then why best team is formed to make a movie? Why good dialogue writers are being put in movies? Why good costume designers are put in movies? Why good lyricists are being selected for movies? Why good background music is being chosen for movies? because everything matters. So story alone is not the important thing. That story needs to be presented in a wonderful manner. So good presentation is equally important. So what is the need for you to choose good clothes and get ready for attending a party when presentation is not important? See how you purchase the goods when you go for shopping in a supermarket. You take decisions only on the basis of initial impressions, that is looks of the product. Similarly, initial impressions matters a lot. Of course, content should also be good, but rather than content, what is more important is good presentation. Start your preparation as early as possible. Please don't postpone. This is what generally majority students do with respect of theory subjects. Please don't postpone. Make it as a habit to read theory subjects every day rather than occasionally. Is it required to quote section numbers in legal papers? It's not required, but if you are able to quote the section numbers correctly, then it's good, but it's not going to make any value addition. Is it required to quote case laws in legal papers? No, it's not required. There is no compulsion. But if you are able to quote correctly, then it's good. But remember one thing, it is going to do more damage to you if you quote a wrong section number or wrong case law. That's why quote section number in case law only if you are 100% confident. Is it required to remember and reproduce definition and other names in subject like economics? No, it's not required. You have to choose at least 2 favorite subjects in each group, and you must score at least exemption range of marks in those 2 subjects. It's better to choose problematic papers rather than theory papers for scoring exemption, because generally problematic papers are more scoring. Don't read theory subjects for more than 1.5 hours. After every 1.5 hours, you try to change the subject. So it's better to slice theory subjects and problematic subjects. That means you read for 1.5 hours on theory subjects. After that, you better switch over to problematic paper. You prepare problematic paper for 1.5 hours. After that, you once again switch over to another theory subject. It's better to slice theory subjects in between problematic papers. Preferably don't read theory papers before 7 a.m., between 1 to 4 p.m., after 10 p.m. because generally for majority students, their concentration levels will be low during these timings. During your free time, try to memorize the things read by you. You can use quick revision notes for this purpose. Whenever you feel bored, try to revise old topics in quick revision notes. Don't waste your time. So try to improve your handwriting, speed as well as neatness. Practice speed handwriting. Yeah, these are all the tips with respect to theory subjects. Hope that all of you all learned something new on how to crack theory subjects in a better manner. All the best.